Hey there, old nightmares, and welcome to D&D Horror Stories, a new series I decided to start as I soon plan to be a DM, and I'm currently homebrewing a whole world, and it's taking me a little bit, but as it gets closer, I'm getting more and more nervous that by being a DM, I am going to do some stupid shit, or I'm going to experience some shit. I trust the people that I want to play with. I also trust myself not to be an idiot, but you never know. So we're going to read some D&D horror stories, and, get a fresh perspective, find out things that I wouldn't necessarily do, wouldn't ever think of, and learn from the experience as I go. First one we got is called DM Conspired with Another Player to Have My Character Killed Off Screen. Immediately a red flag, because in no way and or form should your character be killed off unless it's in combat without your consent, because combat kind of happens. You fail saving throws. Okay, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's go ahead and start the story. So back some years ago, I went to one of my friend's house, started a new campaign of D&D with our regular group. After having finished a campaign in a different game, we gathered and spent hours crafting our character. My character was a deep gnome warlock. His backstory included a bit of how he was used as a slave in the Drow household and escaped to the surface with the help and support of his patron. Understandably, this character did not like Drow. I made my character, his backstory, and bias all known multiple times during the character process to both the DM and the other players. One of the players didn't necessarily hide the fact, but he did not announce that, hey, I'm making a drow. Honestly, I was still cool with this. I thought it would be even a cool opportunity to roleplay the character overcoming his prejudice to realize not all drow were evil. Okay, this sounds honestly amazing so far. I like that he even realized that Bruce was making drow, so oh, this is a cool opportunity to grow my character. Immediately love that, but obviously that's not the point of the story. As we started, this other player assured me that this was an okay dynamic for our characters. At no time was I ever told I took too far or to tone anything down. My character would mumble under his breath and generally be distrustful of this drow character. Well, apparently, this other player took my in-game roleplay personally, and during a breakdown about 3 hours into the first actual session, took the DM into the bedroom, into the back, and had a conversation. Once we all came back and sat down, I was told, make a new character. Your character was abducted while he was sleeping and will not be coming back. So 3 hours into the first actual session, and the other player immediately is like, nope, I don't like this dynamic. Let me take the DM to the side, and instead of discussing it with the player who, they just come back from the 3 hour break. They just come out. Oh, I'm so baffled. Oh, my brain. They come back from the break and basically it's told, well, your character was killed, make a new character. You realize how much time and dedication goes into making a character, especially when you want to really immerse into the roleplay? If I came back after an hour break and told, your character was abducted while we were gone, make a new character, I would have told them to fuck off, but that is just me. Let's keep reading. I would later find out about all this, and that he was offended that they discussed just killing my character off screen instead of talking to me at all. I made another character, turned out to be a joke character, my heart just wasn't in it, never went back and gamed with that group again after we gamed for like 15 years. Tried a few times to find a new group, but nothing really works out so far. Still a little hopeful. I am so sorry, OP, that you went through that. I am so sorry that, you DM'd with them for 15 years and now you just don't want to go back because of what the DM pulled. The DM should have never pulled that, should never have approved that, should have told the other player you need to talk to them or we could sit down and all talk together. At no point should your character have been killed off screen. That is some horse shit. Now I'm gonna fucking, that leaves me, I want to see if the comments agree. I really do, because, that pissed me off. Oh, okay. We'll just read the top comment for now, because I know some of these stories can get a little long. This wasn't just this wasn't just the other player's problem. It was a DM problem. They should have never allowed this to happen. If the other player was having a problem with it, they should have talked it out over with the two of you and worked something out, which sounds like you were open to. It does sound like that. This could have all been avoided if the other player came up to you in the beginning and said they were going to play a drown, how the two of you can work this out. And yeah, that is honestly, communication is key. If you talk with your players, if you talk with each other, there should never be an issue where this pops up, and if there is, no way should you be killing someone's character off screen. DM in the foul. Fuck this DM. Alright, on to the next story. Player goes psycho when turned down in-game. Oof, this one's a doozy. It is titled Not Safe for Work. and we'll just go ahead and get this started. I should probably start by saying that I am a bisexual man, and so is my partner. This will be important. We've both been playing D&D and Pathfinder for years, and even met each other in a campaign ages ago, and we figured we'd find a new group, since our original party and the DM kind of drifted, and had their own lives pull them away from the table. RIP to our little band of misfits. Love you guys. That's sweet. Names are clearly altered for obvious reasons. I, the Barbarian, will refer to first person. My partner, the Bard, referred to as Caleb. Our friend, the Rogue, is Tiff. Another existing guy in the party, a Warlock, will be Locke. The problem player, a Cleric, will be PP. DM is DM. I like that the problems player is named PP. I'm just going to start there at PP. That's great. It's going to make the story so hard to read, but I'm going to do my best. We found a new group through a friend of ours, Tiff. She said she knew these guys well, and we've been wanting to play with her too, but she was in the middle of a campaign in limited time due to college and studying, and couldn't start a new one. This is a new campaign her DM started, and since a few people dipped, they had room for us. And a friend of our DM joined as well, the PP. We arrived at the session with our character sheets. We were informed that there was room for homebrew and backstories, so us playing a dragonborn barbarian who was once a mighty red dragon, whose power and form was taken in a messed up magical deal to find the adventurers who slew his mate and stole her eggs, now forced to live a regular life among those he would have once eaten. The DM, while stating it was rather out of character for a prideful red dragon and doesn't make a ton of sense, stated that it was fine as long as it didn't affect gameplay. I've never rolled a homebrewed backstory or a dragonborn before. My bad. Caleb rolled a human bard who was once a drummer boy for morale during wartime, and despite his flirty, carefree, kind nature, had scars left over from the wars, and seeked to inspire people in hard times with the same drums he played for soldiers. I like these two backstories so much. Sorry, just talking outside as a DM, I love that so much. Tiff played a foul-mouthed and arrogant human rogue with a sailor smuggler background and agreed to match a red dragon. Love it, love it, love it. Locke rolled a formerly terminally ill half-elf warlock who struck a deal with his patron devil for immortality for as long as he plays to their tune. And our PP, who showed up 45 minutes late and chose to roll a cleric priestess of Saloon and also a succubus. No backstory or anything. Why a fiend would want to be a priestess of Saloon is beyond me, and I've read enough of these stories to know the type, but I also like to give benefit of the doubt. I'm pissed off, aggressive, brooding dragonborn. I can't judge, and besides, homebrew. Exactly. So far, so good. I don't see any issues so far. I like all the characters, but again, it is weird that PP has no backstory and is a succubus. Does raise a little bit of a red flag for me. Your character is just a succubus cleric, gives just a smidge of a red flag with no backstory. DM knew about this and even homebrewed her racials and everything, which was insane. She had a plus 12 modifier charisma check and saving throws. 12 as a racial. Whatever. I'm here for fun. The campaign is rather straightforward, but reminded me of the Elder Scrolls intro. We're prisoners of some crime, but all being in the wrong place at the wrong time. We all introduce ourselves in prison. My character and Tiff's are immediately at each other's throats since they both reek of arrogance and pride. Caleb mediates it and keeps our cool, making light jokes and keeping up our spirits. Locke is brooding and fearing he'll be executed right after his deal, adding a bit of humor to the moment, and PP is silently praying to her goddess in the corner. Usual setup. That sounds dope, I will say. I like it. It's very basic setup, but it's a way to get all the players together. Our party apparently gets released on the condition that they stop a vengeful wizard-tuned necromancer. Wizard-tuned? Sorry. Wizard-turned necromancer from raising army of the dead and attacking town. Think fantasy Suicide Squad. That sounds dope. Not one session in and PP is already rolling checks on seducing everyone for information and discounts and free handouts. This normally wouldn't be an issue, playing your character, but she insists on being extremely graphic with her flirtations, describing the size of bulges and how twitchy they are. Sorry. Sorry. How she'd slide her hand down their pants and touch base, how, not dry she is, etc., etc. I'm normally fine with something getting saucy before fading to black, but she stretches it. No pun intended. The DM even encourages her to go on and enjoy the roleplay, but at some point, Caleb speaks up and asks for a fade to black since it's a bit awkward and takes up time. I can see PP's eyes rolling in her head, but her DM goes along with it. On our first long rest in camp, PP attempts to seduce my Dragonborn, feeling up on his muscles and snout, complimenting his horns, trailing her hand into his crotch. My character genuinely just isn't interested in what he deems as desperation. Not that there is anything with showing interest, but let's face it, my Dragonborn is still autopiloting his true nature and is still sour about his mate. I make it clear that he's not interested. Me, sorry, as a player, I'll tell you that he's not even remotely interested. He doesn't trust anyone right now, and he's dealing with the loss of his mate. PP. Okay, I'll cast my racial charm person. DM. Okay, OP. Roll a wisdom saving throw. Tiff. Well, hold on. That's not really fair. If you were an NPC, I'd get that, but this takes away agency from OP. DM. It's really not a big deal. If they end up screwing, we can fade to black. I can see PP cringe at the idea of not getting some bad dragon action described in great detail. Yes, I went there. Caleb. No offense, man, but we aren't comfortable with this. Tiff. We're not trying to, tell you how to DM, but you do understand agency, right? Locke is just kind of quiet during this time, but we learned that he just didn't want to get in the middle. DM relented and made a new rule that you can't charm or otherwise take player agency away from each other without permission. This had red flags all over it, but I've dealt with worse. The fact that the DM had to be told multiple times, hey, that takes away agency, is definitely a red flag, and I think that he lets PP get away with it because he might have a thing for PP. That's a vibe I'm getting, but I'm not going to say that's a certain. Plenty of sessions go on, and PP is simply relentless with trying to get close to my barbarian, almost to the point where making her sole goal in the campaign. At least the NPCs get some respect. My partner is a champ on keeping his head up, and he understands it's only D&D. We just try to make a running joke out of it, much to PP's silent irritation. Meanwhile, my barbarian began opening up more to his party, Caleb's bard in particular. Tiff, out of character, shipped them anyways, even though we're not a fan of RL influence RP, his bard's constant support and understanding of lost touch and something inside of my dragon. These interactions often got a look from PP, but surprisingly gave nothing but further seduction attempts. At some point, they find the lair of the necromancer, but we need to find a powerful sorcerer in town to help us take down a barrier. That night in camp, my dragonborn confessed to the bard of his desires for him, and asked to share his tent. PP looked visibly disgusted, and Tiff gave me a lol what the fuck concerning PP moping. Bard's response was kissing my barbarian, who proceeds to pick him up by the collar of his blouse and drag him comically into his tent. Followed by a faded black, DM looks rather uncomfortable and asks Locke what he wants to do. At this point, we all know why she's moping. Locke offers to make a move on PP's cleric, but she immediately turns him down with a scoff and sleeps out in the woods. Locke just shrugs and drinks at the campfire with Tiff's rogue. After the session, PP shows more of her ass. PP. OP, why didn't you tell us your character's gay? I wouldn't have wasted my time. Maybe next time don't lead people on. My partner visibly looked irritated. Caleb, seriously? Come on. You don't have to list your character's preferences when you make your character. It's not a big deal. PP. Yes, it is. He knew I was flirting with him. He could have just told my cleric he's gay. Me. Okay, first of all, he's bi. It doesn't matter what you've got as long as he genuinely likes you. It's just a game. It's not worth getting mad about. DM, to be fair, you could have told her out of character. It's kind of fucked up to let her keep trying. Tiff, bro, he told her at the start. PP, not that he's gay. Tiff, oh my god, he said he's bi. Bi. Maybe he's just not into your succubus. DM, look, let's just call it for tonight and pick it back up next week. We all go home feeling sour, Tiff blowing up my phone about complaining about PP, complaining about the DM, and how PP made Locke feel uncomfortable. Overall, a terrible session. Fucking agreed. I have a slight... there's multiple red flags, but there's another red flag being raised, especially when PP looked disgusted about what was happening. I think PP may be slightly homophobic, and PP's in DM's ear. Calling it right there. It all comes to a close on our next session. Before we begin, DM pulls me aside and asks me to apologize for PP for making her feel ugly and led on. I look at him confused. DM, look, I need you to apologize to PP. She feels terrible and lied over you turning her down and not telling her your dragon was gay. I don't want any problems. It'll just be easy. This is how we get out. This is how we work things out in my campaign. I internally facepalm at the word gay before shaking my head. Look, man, I didn't do anything. I'd rather just move on. I'm already uncomfortable with this campaign as it was with our constant mood swings. DM, well, we're uncomfortable with the gay stuff, but we just put up with it. Never mind. Just don't cause any trouble anymore, alright? I can't even respond to this. I'm beyond pissed. Caleb checks on me, but I play it off. I just want to try and steer the sinking ship and hopefully hit shore before we drown. Honestly, good on you, OP. As a bisexual man myself, I might have snapped right there. I'm not gonna lie, but we're gonna move on from that. The session goes on as you would expect. PP brooding, Locke awkwardly following the vibe, Tiff and Caleb on edge, and myself feeling a mix of things. We eventually go back to town and stay the night at the inn after finding the sorcerer who helps us, the DNPC. Locke finds a charming tiefling bard who's deeply interested and heads to a room upstairs with her to fade to black and retire for the evening. PP is staring daggers at me at this point, as if daring me to take Caleb's bard upstairs. I'm tired at this point, and this is where I get into an am I the asshole moment. I smile at Caleb and Tiff. Me, my barbarian, hand around Caleb's waist, whispers to him. I show a note to Caleb, who knowingly smirks and nods. Me, I turn to Tiff and ask her if she would like to join Caleb and I upstairs for the night. Tiff snickers and immediately responds, Tiff, oh hell yeah, gonna make a bridge. I then explain the three of us go up to have wild devil's threesome. PP loses her shit. PP, what the fuck, dude? You turn me down, but you jump on her ass? This is bullshit, man. You're doing this on purpose. DM, that's fucked up, man. I'm not letting that happen. I immediately grab my stuff, get up, and leave. No insults, no responses. Caleb follows, and Tiff shortly after. Locke later texts Tiff that he's looking for a new group now. The three of us drink in my apartment and laugh at how absurd it was. Tiff said she talked to the DM, but we explained that we weren't coming back. She understood and said she'd find a new group too, but was sad that a friend of hers was probably a simp for a psycho. Aftermath. We don't know what happened with the DM and PP. We never asked, but me, Caleb, Locke, and Tiff found a new healthy group to join. Locke drifted apart after some time, but I wish him so much happiness. Caleb and I are now a year into marriage, and Tiff is trying out DMing herself. TLDR. Player wants to jump my character, gets butthurt when I won't, causes drama, and DM sims for her. So yeah, okay, that was the vibe I was getting the whole time, was that the DM was really simping for PP. God, PP is such a great name for the evil villains, or not, I guess not evil, but the asshole-ish villain who's just so determined to fuck someone's character when they said no. Like, you should learn to take no as no instead of trying to keep going for it. This goes to real life, not just a fucking Dungeons and Dragons story. What the fuck were you thinking, constantly pushing, and then freaking out, being like, oh, your character's gay, and the character was bi, and even when they were saying bi, she's like, you should just bi. Oh my god, this story had me so heated, but had such a beautiful ending. They made it to where PP hopefully never forgets that incident, remembers what she did. I hope she regrets it. She probably doesn't, but god do I hope she does. This was such a good story. You are not the asshole. That was a perfect way to show her that fuck you, and then walked out without any form of insult or response. So she is just sitting there boiling and seething how she couldn't get to fuck the Dragonborn, but the Dragonborn fucked everybody else in the party but the Warlock. Haha, fuck you. Sorry, that's just great. God. All right, one more story for this. Oh my lord, I love that. And yeah, no, as the DM, oh, DM, you cannot be doing whatever your characters want. Like, my wife is going to be in my campaign, and I'm not going to let her do willy-nilly what she wants. I may be a simp for her, but as a DM, I will not let her get away with shit. You gotta draw a line when it comes to relationships in the game. It really does help. Trust me. Oh, okay. We're going to end this final one out with a bang. Our DM surprise drugged me and the other players. Content warning, non-consensual drugging. So do they drug the in-game characters, or are they drugging the literal players? I am severely concerned. Let's go ahead and open up this story. Holy fucking shit. Back in 2015, I was a 22-year-old woman straight out of college, and I just discovered the joy that is D&D. Thanks to Critical Role. Through a friend of a friend, I managed to find a group for my then boyfriend, his best friend, and myself to join. The DM was a man in his 40s who we didn't know well, but as I'm sure people know, it can be hard to find a new DM. The first couple of sessions went fine, so we didn't think twice when he invited us to another one. He lived about an hour away from us, so we all got in our car together and drove to his place. There were 2 other PCs in addition to us 3. In the game, our characters meet with an official who offers us refreshments during the meeting. The refreshments are cupcakes, and at this point, the DM goes into his kitchen and brings out cupcakes he made for the session. I thought it was super sweet. We start eating the cupcakes as we play, and the DM tells us to make saving throws. It turns out the cupcakes in-game are drugged and are intended to knock out our characters. The official's secretly evil and is trying to set us up. So far, so good. I see where this is going, and I'm extremely scared. I am glad you are okay, but what the fuck? Then the GM drops the facts that the cupcakes we are actually eating in real life are also drugged. We immediately ask what the hell he means, and he says these cupcakes are edibles. I don't do any drugs, so I'm pretty upset to learn this is an addition. We drove here, which means we need to drive home. We point this out to him, and he says the dose is low, so it's no big deal. At this point, we should have left, but we stayed to finish playing the session because we were young and struggling to assert ourselves. Okay, so they were edibles. It's not nearly as bad as I was thinking. I thought he was actually aiming to knock them out like in the game. But still, you do not drug your players or anyone without consent. I'm going to wait to have a rant at the end of this because this is going to fucking piss me off. Alright. My boyfriend and friends are playing dwarves, so they had the advantage of saving throws against poison. I happened to roll a natural 20. As a result, the drugs didn't work on our characters. This clearly frustrated the DM, who tells us there's no way out of the room and we're going to be restrained no matter what. He doesn't let us play it out, just tells us we're knocked out because clearly that's what they had planned. We wake up on a ship, we're confused because we had a pretty clear story before this, and it's clear the DM scrapped the entire story and is trying to completely shift gears into a pirate adventure. My boyfriend's friend is pissed about this entire situation, so he starts talking back in the game to the pirate captain. She whips him for every time he talks back, immediately does 1 point of damage, no AC check, no chance for him to fight back. He doesn't let this discourage him and continues to insult her. The DM is frustrated and is like, seriously man, stop talking back to her or she's going to kill you. My boyfriend's friend says, okay, then I die. At this point, the session understandably ends. I had only like 1 bite of the cupcake, so I took the risk to drive home since we were an hour away from our homes. We communicate with the DM online that we did not appreciate the surprise drugging that he gave a half-assed apology, tried to schedule another session. But we told him we weren't interested. He proceeded to send my boyfriend an angry message telling us that we were awful players and people. So that was fun. Okay. Oh, big fucking rant. Big fucking rant. Alright. First of all, you do not drug people without their consent. Second of all, if as a DM, you have to accept that things are not going to go as you planned. So when they all were able to resist poison in-game, you should have been like, well, fuck. Alright, y'all resist it. You kind of have to spin off of the cuff as a DM. Like, I have not had my first DM session yet. I will fully admit that. But I have planned out several plot points in case they do things that completely throw me off guard. I've also planned and understood that sometimes I cannot plan for whatever events occur. Because I know the chaotic gremlins that are going to be in my session are going to do the most random shit. So, you are an asshole on multiple levels. You are a horrible DM. And on top of that, you drugged people without their consent and gave a half-assed apology, tried to blame them for what it was whenever they said, I don't want to play this game again with you again. And we did not we did not like the fucking non-consensual. I don't know how people keep composed when they're ranting. Moral of the story. Do not drug your players. Do not force a playthrough with your characters. I understand that you have a story you want to tell, but you also have to understand that your story is going to have a lot of bumps, curves, and rivets. You can do whatever you want. And if you're going to change the story, you also need to talk to the players prior to. Let them know that, hey, I want to go through a different plot point. Oh, this is going to be some adventure. I want to do pirate adventures now. Explain this shit to your players. I want to read some of the comments. I didn't read any of the comments from the last one. I apologize. I forgot. We're going to read some comments from this one. Reed's title. Oh, they mean he drugged their characters. That's pretty shitty depending on how you play it up. Reed's post. The DM should be in prison. Sorry, OP, I hope everything's okay. The OP responded. We were all okay. It's been 10 years, no contact with the guy, so no idea what happened to him. Oh, yeah, the DM should be in prison. You drug people? Prison time. Do not care. You do not do that without people's permission. Alright, Little Nightmares, that was my very first time attempting to read stories, so I hope you all did enjoy it. I completely understand that this is not something you want to necessarily see or hear again, but I personally had a lot of fun, and yeah, I wouldn't have done anything that these DMs did, so I think as a DM, I'll probably do fine. Especially the last one. Holy fuck. But if y'all did enjoy the video and want to see more DM horror stories, which I'll be more than happy to read, please make sure to hit the like button down below, and I will see you all in the next video. Sweet dreams.
Gate devourers. One strike could prove lethal.
My path be true.
Oh, so much for peace.
Heading there.
Can't even catch my breath.